He just used the left hand motive, pedal, parallel fifths, and repeating all the time, going up and down. And then he just put the chant melody in it to fit it in, and that's it. Easy, right?
Yeah.
You can do that. Welcome back to the RCCO Organist Launchpad, where we're exploring Tournemire's improvisational techniques in his office for the Assumption from L'Orgue Mystique. So we're going to be looking at the third movement of this office. And do you know where exactly this movement is supposed to be performed?
The elevation?
Yes. But did you know that Tournimire actually preferred complete silence during the actual elevation?
Oh, okay.
So he would play a piece right after, okay? And so he would really leave the elevation totally in silence, and then he would play until before the Paternoster would be recited or sung. So the chant he used in this office, however, is not heard during the Mass in this particular movement, but it derives from one of the offices of the day. So we won't hear the song or the chant in the Mass, okay, but outside of the, I think it's in the Vespers that is performed. Okay. So before we start looking at the piece and analyzing what Tournimire did, let's listen to your playing.
Okay.
Beautiful, thank you. So what are the two most obvious techniques that he used in this movement?
He has the repeated pedal,
Mm-hmm.
and then he has the two, polyrhythms, I guess.
Okay, that's correct. But also, if you just play the first two bars, left hand and the pedal, then you'll see something. Yeah, and if you go on, it just keeps repeating, right?
Yeah, it just keeps
So what did he do with this piece? He just used the left hand motive, pedal, parallel fifths, and repeating all the time, going up and down. And then he just put the chant melody in it to fit it in, and that's it. Easy, right?
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
So if we just isolate the left hand and the pedal, and just get the feeling you have the quintuplets there, and then you have to fit in the sextuplets into it, and you don't want to break your neck to just trying, okay, sextuplet, quintuplet. So just isolate the two, just play the pedal and the left hand, mm-hmm, and get the right feeling of it. Mm-hmm. And then we can add the the chant melody to it.
Okay.
Can you just try to play, let's say, 3 bars
Okay.
of the pedal and left hand? Okay, and now can you just keep the pedal and then play the chant melody and don't play the left hand? That's easier right now, right? When you don't have to think about the quintuplets.
Yeah.
So it's perhaps the best way how to do that is to have no stops in the left hand and play the pedal and right hand while playing without stops on that one manual where you have the left hand, or then switch it. Just listen to how you're shaping the quintuplets and how you're shaping the sextuplets in the right hand.
Okay.
And that's going to really help you to present the chant in even though it's sextuplets, but in a freer way that it's not 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
You know? Sorry. That even though it is a sextuplet, but just feel that it might be a little bit ad libitum.
Okay. Okay.
That don't feel that it has to go straight forward.
Oh.
right?
Okay.
Great. And wonderful. So this movement is very simple in terms of analyzing and looking for different techniques, what he actually did. Because as we saw, repetition, all the way from the beginning to the end. Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So after hearing all these 3 movements, we can summarize which techniques we observed in these 3 movements of the office of the Assumption from L'Orgue Mystique. So do you remember what we did in the first movement? What was so obvious?
There was the structure of
Yes.
the right hand and pedal.
What about the motion?
The chant was being harmonized in parallel motion.
Exactly. And contrary motion as well. Wonderful. So we mentioned the repetition of motives. So basically keeping the same structure, but altering 1 note or 2 notes or reversing the interval, but the structure is the same, right? Then, as in this movement or the second movement, we also saw that he's using a lot of ostinato, right? And that's another technique. But then also in the second movement, we saw that he was really trying to evoke a sense of timelessness through having those long sustained chords and then the ostinato in it, right? That it really makes you feel that there is no end. It just flows.
And the elevation.
Exactly. So that's another thing which we will get into right now. So because I would like to look at the connection between the liturgy of the day and what he did actually, that if we can also summarize that. So he selected the key phrases of the chants, like as we pointed out in the second movement, he only chose the Assumpta es Maria, and then there was a part that's at the end of the chant which says Alleluia, that's all. But there's 2/3 of the chant missing that he didn't use because he really wanted to emphasize Mary is taken up to heaven, Alleluia.
Okay.
And that's all, because he wants to highlight what's so important about the event.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we also noticed that when he is repeating motives, he is going in ascending motion, that once he has it in the middle range, then the next time he repeats it, it's higher, and then third time again, even higher. So he is also using that in painting the image of the Assumption. And another thing that we didn't mention that's also important when you look at the first movement out here. The pedal, the chant is where?
In the pedal.
Yes. In the second movement, the chant is?
In the right hand?
Yes, but
Or
it's
the left
almost
hand?
like alto line,
Yeah,
we would
the
say.
alto right.
And where is it here?
In the soprano.
So again,
that's
he
so
climbed
neat.
up.
Yeah.
By getting to the third movement, he went up to the soprano, right? So we can also say that he is creating a contrast and connecting even more on so many levels with the liturgy and his musical ideas. Wonderful. Now, the registration, which we didn't really talk about, but I just want to point out a few things that, as we said, in the first movement, we had the chant in the pedal, but he's using a 4-foot. So it's not that low as we would think. But then in the second movement, we have 8-foot. And then as you move on, you have 16 and 32. So he is going in contrary motion. 4, 8, 16, 32 into what's happening with the music. And then when we get to the last movement, we're going up because he's using registration from the third manual, where it's Cordinouille and Nazart, right? So he climbed up back up.
Yeah.
So that's another of his way of expressing what's going on today.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I hope these few examples could help you to get started on what you could do with liturgical comments, so to speak. And so, you know, it's all about searching, analyzing, and learning how to use same techniques, but in your own way, right? And so that will open doors to many more possibilities. And, you know, when you're practicing all the time, that you have a structured practice routine and you do it every day, in 2 months, you're gonna feel, wow, I wasn't able to do this a month ago. But, oh, this is new. That you're really exploring your own possibilities and what you're able to do. And, you know, consistent practice routine will definitely bear its fruit. So, and you'll be fearless when filling in the parts in the Mass that you were saying that you don't know what to do when you have a longer communion and you're stuck what to play right now. So you're going to be really fearless to feel these parts, because you're going to have so much in your suitcase to use and pull out whenever you need it. So I would like to thank you for your wonderful interpretation. And I also want to thank you for joining us in the Organist Launchpad, where we were exploring Tournemire's improvisational techniques and looking at his role as a liturgical commentator. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the success in your future endeavors.